Just 11 days. That's how long the last office guy I watched try a blue-collar job actually lasted. And he was in better shape than half the crew. It wasn't that his back quit, because 62% of white-collar workers today, they say they would switch the trades if they could. And today, you're gonna find out if you could. It's 5 questions, so keep score. No lying to yourself. 30 years on the job sites taught me exactly what separates the ones who make it from the ones who load their truck at lunch and they never come back. And your verdict's waiting at the end. And question 4, that's the Widowmaker. Tack weld that like button, guys, and let's find out what you're made of. Guys, real quick, I put together a totally free 2026 Blue Collar Resource Guide. It's got links to getting started in union jobs, free apprenticeships, and grants to start up your own business, and much more. It's totally free. It's my gift to you. Just hit the link down in the description and grab your free copy today. And while you're at it, tap that subscribe button and that notification bell. It's also free to you and helps me bring 3 fresh new videos to you every single week. Now let's get into it. So here's the rules. 5 questions. Every honest yes is 1 point, and the magic word is honesty. There's no prize for lying, just a bad career decision with your name on it. And these aren't trivia questions. They come from 30 years on the job site. I watched real people walk on. I watched exactly which ones walk back off. Now, notice what I will not ask you. I'm not going to ask you how much you bench press. I'm not going to ask you if you're handy. And I won't ask you if you even own a truck. Because 3 decades, I've never once watched a guy quit because he wasn't strong enough. The body adapts. Durability gets built on the job in 90 days. I've watched wiry 150-pound guys outwork gym monsters every week of my career. It's everything else that breaks the people. So that's what these 5 measure. So keep score in your head or down on your iPhone. At the end, you'll get your verdict. The desk lifer, the coin flip, or you're built for this. And drop your number down in the comments, because this comment section is going to be a confession booth. Question 1, we start before the sun does. Question 1, can you build your whole life around a 4:45 alarm? Not for a week, not for a challenge, forever. And here's what the office crowd doesn't really get, guys. It's not the trade hours that are early, it's that they're early every single day. A 7 a.m. start time and you're 40 minutes out from the job site, you're up at 4:45. You've got your lunch packed the night before, you're in bed by 9:30 probably, and your evenings are now 90 minutes long. Monday Night Football, you might see the first half. Beers with the guys at 8, it's past your bedtime now, and there's no working from home when you're dragging. The concrete truck shows up either way. Now stack the weather on top. Your 3rd week of July in Kansas City in my area, it's 104 degrees. No shade. The schedule doesn't care about heat index. Or how about January on a concrete slab? It's 12 degrees or something. Your fingers quit around hour 2. The office is 72 degrees forever. For job sites, they give you the whole catalog. But here's the flip. The weather is why the money is there. Everybody can do comfortable. Fewer hands show up for hard. Scarce hands get paid. And your body adjusts faster than you'd believe. Week 1 in the heat is straight misery. Week 6, it's like an average Tuesday. And the guys who adjust, they get the trade secret gift. Done at 3:30 most days. Full daylight left. Empty gym. Empty lake. Trade guys don't have less life. They just have it at different hours. So, be honest here. Can you live there? If it's yes, then give yourself a point. Question 2 turns the knife. You're 38, you used to manage a team of 12, your new foreman is 26, and he just told you, but not asked you, told you to redo the last hour of your work. Can you say, you got it and mean it? Sit with that one for a second. This is the ego death question. It breaks more career changers than any ladder ever will, because day 1 on a job site, your old identity, it's gone, brother. You were the Excel guy, the one they used to ask. And out here, you don't know words, you don't know tools, and you hold the dumb end of the tape for a month. Somebody will send you for a board stretcher. Don't fall for it. The whole crew will let you look for it. And skill is visible out here. No hiding behind meetings or email threads. Either the cut is right or it isn't. Meanwhile, the trades run on a hierarchy the office abandoned decades ago. Skill and hours, period. Nobody cares about your corner cubicle. That 26-year-old started at 16 maybe. He's got 10 years on tools. Out here, that makes him your senior, legitimately. His orders aren't disrespect, they're the system working. I've watched grown men melt down after a 26-year-old told them what to do. The former sales director, well, the way I'd run this crew, buddy, nobody asked. and the crew is now betting on your quit date. But here's the beautiful flip. That same hierarchy that humbles you coming in, it pays you as you're going up. String together the hours and the skill, and at 42, you're the senior guy. And nobody cares that the new apprentice used to be a vice president somewhere. The ladder's blind. That's the deal. The bottom rung first. Can you take it? Give yourself a point if you can on question 2. All right, question 3. Can your household survive 2 years of apprenticeship money? Straight numbers. Leaving a $65,000 desk job maybe? Your first trade year probably pays $35 to $45, sometimes less than non-union, sometimes more with overtime. But plan on this valley, and it starts with a toll booth. About $1,000 worth of gear probably. I'm talking about real boots, the $200 kind, the $60 kind, because the $60 kind destroys your feet by Thursday. You're going to need hand tools, a belt, weather gear as the seasons turn. $800 to $1,200 in your first 90 days probably. On apprentice wage, this question is where 62% get the real answer, by the way. It's not the mud that stops them, it's the mortgage. Wanting the trades at your current salary is a daydream. The trades make you walk through that valley first. Now, here's the flip side. The valley has a far side, and you control the slope. Every certification, every classification bump, every year of hours, raises on a published schedule with no begging, the annual review theater, union apprenticeships soften it even more. Scheduled raises every 6 to 12 months, benefits that beat your old cubicle package. By year 4 or 5, most guys cross their old salary, go in the other direction, with overtime whenever they want the accelerator. And that $1,000 of tools, compare it to 80 grand of student debt, for instance. That's a bank error in your favor. But you have to eat during those years 1 and 2. Savings, a working spouse, low overhead, side money, whatever it takes. Some bridge planned in advance. If you've got the bridge and you can handle this one, take the point on question 3. Now, question 4, the Widowmaker, the one I promised you at the top. Here's what makes it different. Questions 1 through 3, you probably predicted them. Question 4, almost nobody sees coming. It's got nothing to do with your body. It's got nothing to do with your ego. And it's got nothing to do with the crew. And it's the number one thing I watch send office guys back to their desk quicker than anything other. Most of them never understood what actually got them. It's 30 seconds away. First, this video's got a sponsor, and it's the one I actually stand behind. So give them a listen. You know, one thing I've learned after decades of working around hardworking people, most folks aren't afraid of putting in the work. They'll spend 30 or 40 years building a career, saving for retirement, and trying to do everything the right way. But here's the part a lot of people put off, making sure all of that hard work is actually protected. Because the reality is, most retirement accounts are still heavily tied to the stock market. So when the market takes a hit, your retirement could take one too. Now, I'm not saying you should move everything. That's a personal decision. But a lot of people are at least looking into whether having a portion of the retirement backed by physical gold makes sense. That's why I partnered with Augusta Precious Metals. What I like is they don't press you into anything. They take the time to explain how a gold IRA works. They answer your questions and help you decide whether it's a fit for you in your own situation. If you've been thinking about protecting what you've spent a lifetime building but just haven't looked into it yet, now's probably a good time to get informed. Click the link down in my description or text JV Charles to 35052 to get Augusta's free guide. I've done my homework on Augusta before recommending them, guys. They are the best overall gold IRA company 4 years running, and that's why I'm comfortable pointing you in their direction. Learn how it works, ask your questions, and make the decision that's right for you. All right, back to question 4. Can you do excellent work for months and hear absolutely nothing about it? I'm talking about no praise, no great job on that deck, no performance review, no gold star, no thumbs up emoji, nothing. Think about how much invisible applause office life feeds you. I'm talking about Slack reactions, great catch, emails, quarterly reviews, LinkedIn anniversaries. The office is a recognition machine. Little hits all day, every day, day after day. You've been mainlining it your whole career and you never even notice. Job sites, they don't have that machine. Because out here, silence is your compliment. Nobody's yelling at you. You're doing great. The foreman says nothing for 3 weeks. That's a rave review. The closest thing to praise is getting handed a harder task. No explanation. That's a promotion ceremony out here. Nobody tells the new guys that. So here's what I've watched over and over for 30 years. The office converts do good work. They wait for the feedback. It never comes. Week after week, and something in them starts to starve. They can't name it. They say the culture wasn't for me, or they say I missed using my brain. Nobody was clapping and they couldn't run without applause. That's the widowmaker. Not the weather, not the alarm, it's validation withdrawal. The guys who survive it, they find the replacement. It's better, but it's slower. The work itself talks. You drive past a building you helped stand up 20 years later. It's still there. There's no email thread that ever did that. But you have to cross that silence to get there. So be dead honest, guys. Can you run without applause? That's a point if you say so on number 4. All right, the last question, question number 5. Can you commit to 2 full years before you decide? Here's why this question decides whether the other 4 even matter. There's a quit window in the trades, months 3 through 9. It eats almost everybody who's going to quit up. Month 1 runs on adrenaline, right? So month 3, the novelty's dead. Your gear's scuffed. You're still the new guy. The weather turned. The valley paycheck is routine now. That's when the desk starts whispering. And here's the tragedy. Months 3 through 9 are the worst possible window to judge from. You've paid most of the cost already. You've collected almost none of the payoff. It's judging a marathon at mile 19. Every happy trade guy you'll ever meet passed through the same window though, guys. It's good money, a good crew, walks around like he owns a place. Ask him, he'll tell you the same thing. It flips somewhere in year 2. The work gets faster, then the sucks. Your hands now know things. The crew stops testing you and starts trusting you, and the checks climb on schedule. But none of that is visible from month 5, so the commitment gets made before you start. Cold-blooded, on your couch right now. You gotta make it, guys. 2 years with no exit ramps. So judge it at the end. Can you sign the deal with yourself? If you can, give yourself a point. Now, pencils down, that's it. 1 bonus round first though. There's 3 rapid fire questions with no points, no pressure, but if it makes you flinch, be honest about it. Bonus 1, Porta-John in January. That's it. That's the question. There's no heated executive washroom coming. Listen, it's a plastic box at the edge of the job site. It's 12 degrees in there, and the seat knows it. Every vet watching just nodded with a 1,000-yard stare. Bonus 2, lunch out of a cooler. On a bucket, 25 minutes every day. No DoorDash to the 4th floor. No delivery from Applebee's or TGI Fridays. And honestly, some of the best conversations of my 30 years, they happened over those buckets. And it's a downgrade menu, yeah, but it's an upgrade in company. Most guys figure that out by month 2. Bonus question 3, can you leave your phone in your truck? Scrolling on a scissor ladder is how guys end up on a safety poster, and a crew clocks a phone checker faster than they clock bad boots. 8 hours where nobody expects an email. The office guys can't decide if that is punishment or paradise. Usually it's the reason they came. Alright, pencil downs for real this time, guys. It's verdict time. So if you had 0 to 2 points, stay at the desk. And hear me, this isn't an insult. You just saved yourself 11 days. The $1,000 of tools, a bruised year. The trades don't need tourists, guys, and you don't need the detour. Honest self-knowledge beats a brave mistake every time. If you got 3 points, you're a coin flip, and coin flips are flexible. I'd bet money on where your lost points were at, the money question or the ego question. They both have answers. The money gap closes with a bridge plan, a savings runway, a union apprenticeship with scheduled raises, or start the trades as a side hustle first. Now the ego gap closes with a decision, and only you can make it. So fix your weakest answer. Retake the test in 6 months. 4 or 5 points if you scored that? What are you still doing at a desk? Seriously, you just tested higher than half the guys already out there. The alarm doesn't scare you, the silence doesn't starve you, the valley doesn't break you. The trades are short about 500,000 hands right now, and the door is wide open. Your only question left is which trade, and I have got a whole channel specifically for that. But whatever you scored, drop the number in the comments, just the number. I read every single one, and this comment section is going to be more honest than most job interviews. So, could you really survive a blue-collar job? You've got your number now. More importantly, you know why. It's never about your back. It's the alarm, the weather, the 26-year-old Foreman, the silence where the applause used to be, the cold Johnny on the spot out back, and the 2-year deal. It's 5 honest questions, more truth than any recruiter will ever hand you. Now, picture the 4+ guys. 2 years from now, through the valley, past the quit window, hands that know things, driving past work that outlived them. That's the other side, and it's real. But surviving the trade still leaves the bigger question on which trade deserves your 2 years. If you pick wrong, even a 5 out of 5, ends up miserable. The good news, that's exactly what this channel does. Check out the 2 videos I recommend right here on the end screen. They'll match your score to the trade that fits it. I'm JV Charles. Thanks for checking out the video, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.